Chapter 20. Here's what happens in the end. It is already dark out when I land with a soft thud right back where I started in Uncle Max's backyard. You'd think I'd be better at landing, having been through it once before, but this time when I land on the grass, I roll straight into the dirt. Someone says something, but I can't make it out for my infinitesimally, there we go, size ears. The best way I can describe it is to say it's like being underwater and not being able to understand the words people above the water are saying. But then, pop, pop, there they are, back to their regular size. What? I ask. Watch the flower beds, Uncle Max calls. I look over and there he is sitting on the back porch. His face is lit up, but not in a genie way. It's just 'cause the porch lights are turned on. He's pouring himself a glass of iced tea. I race up the steps, dusting myself off for bits of dirt and grass and petals as I go. My heart is pounding like I'm still hurling through tunnels from one side of the bottle to the other. Uncle Max holds the pitcher out towards me. Care for a glass? He asks, like everything is perfectly normal and nothing out of the ordinary happened today. Like my biggest problem is perhaps I'm just a bit thirsty. I have to go see Quinn, I say. Back down the steps, around the corner, back down the block, up 3 steps to our front door. I ring the bell, but I don't wait for anyone to answer. I take the key that Mom hides inside a special rock and bang through the door. Quinn, Quinn, Quinn! The house isn't that big, but it feels bigger than usual as I race through the rooms, not finding her. Not until I trip over her and fall into Madeline sprawled out on the floor in our den. Ow! Madeline cries. Watch it, nut job, Quinn tells me. There she is, my sister. I stare at her, taking her in. She looks all right. She looks like she always does. What? Quinn asks. Why are you smiling like that? No reason, I tell her. I was looking for you and now you're here. Zach, you're being a nut job, Quinn says. She waves her hand, her signal for get lost. Can't you see we're watching a movie? On the TV screen, 2 girls who don't look much different from Quinn and Madeline are painting each other's nails. Stop smiling so much, she says. It's weird. And do something about your feet. I look down at my bare feet. I left one shoe at Millings Academy and the other one at Uncle Max's house. My genie bite looks a little darker than usual. Maybe it's just the lights are dimmed in the den. Better from watching a movie. Can Quinn tell? What about my feet? They stink, she says. You're stinking up the whole room. Uncle Max walks in right then. Well, hello, birthday twins, he says brightly, and hello, Madeline. Hi, Madeline says softly. Then she leans over and whispers something to Quinn. I think I hear the word Einstein, which makes both of them laugh. And yes, Quinn's laugh is as cringe-worthy as ever, but neither she nor Madeline seem to care. I didn't hear the doorbell ring, I tell Uncle Max. The door was unlocked, he says. I guess I forgot to lock it behind me, I say. Hold the phone, Quinn says. She's looking at me with the same look of disbelief she had when I told her I was a genie. You forgot to lock the door? Don't you know there are 1,000,000 break-ins in a year? 3,000,000, I say, but I had other things on my mind. Oh, look, my whole family is together, Mom says. Mom is carrying a bowl of popcorn and she sets it on the coffee table for everyone to share. I don't mention how easy it is to choke on the popcorn and remind everyone to chew extra amount before they swallow. I just look around at my sister, my uncle, my mom, and even Madeline, all together. It's great, isn't it? I say. Shh, we're watching the movie, Quinn tells me. You talked first, I reminded her. No, I didn't. Besides, you're talking more. Mom shakes her head. I thought maybe the fights would stop when we hit the decade mark. Sorry to break up the family scene, but I have to get going, Uncle Max says. Can't you just stay to the end of the movie? Mom asks. Not this time. I have a bit of work to do. He stands, and Quinn stands too. Can you pause the movie? She asks. I have to go to the bathroom. Plus, we should go back a bit because everyone was being so loud. Walk me to the door, Zach, Uncle Max tells me. Standing in our teensy foyer, Uncle Max tells me he plans to write SFG tonight to tell them I should start the intermediate class. If you can tell me what you learned today, Zach. I learned you were right about keeping an eye on the bottle, I say, except... Don't worry, Zach, Uncle Max says to me, pulling it out of his pocket in his shirt I didn't know was there. I was watching it for you. Now, did you learn anything else? Well, I've been thinking about the wish Trey made. Not the one I ended up granting, but before that. He told me he'd wished to get rid of his dad, and I don't think that's what he really wanted. I think sometimes people wish for things because they want them, and sometimes they wish for things because they're afraid. Like Trey was really afraid of his dad. Mostly he was afraid his dad didn't like him. That's why he wanted to change. That must have been a sad thing for you to see, a son not appreciating his father and vice versa. Yeah, but did you see in the end when his dad showed up? That was his real wish. He didn't even have to make it, and it came true. He was so afraid of his dad, but in the end it turned out he didn't have to be. So I guess I learned sometimes you have to listen to your fears, and sometimes you have to do the thing you're afraid of, and it'll make you happy. And how did that make you feel? It made me happy too. It was nice that it happened because of me, even if I didn't know how I was doing it when I was granting his wish. But that was the best part. It's cool if it's part of my destiny. You know, you reach the final stage of finding out you're a genie, Uncle Max says. What's that? Happiness. Zack, Quinn shouts, you didn't put the toilet seat down. I haven't been home all day, I shout back. Well, who else could it have been, that job? Quinn, don't call your brother names, Mom says. I smile at Uncle Max. And Zack, go put the toilet seat down. Go take care of it, Uncle Max says, and then get some rest. Tomorrow will be a whole new adventure. I shut the door behind him, but before I head down the hall, I lift my fist to my chin and say to the imaginary true listener, how's that for a day in the life?